In a world where it's every man for himself, meet Gyu Park, our brilliantly stubborn protagonist. After countless nukes turned the Earth into a charred wasteland, the only thing left for most folks was an inevitable and very grim ending. But Gyu? Oh, he's built differently. While everyone else was busy living their lives like tomorrow was a given, he saw the apocalypse coming a mile away and had time to prep. And I mean really prep. Goodbye hope, hello chaos. Now, survival means doing whatever it takes to see another sunrise, and Gyu is the poster boy for whatever it takes. With his foresight and resources, he's got a fortress against any foe, and he's living the high life, all on his own terms. Luxurious, glorious, and untouchable, because not even fate is going to tell this guy what to do. The story kicks off in the lively heart of Seoul, South Korea. It's a picture-perfect sunny day, cars zooming along the bustling streets, laughter in the air as children play and students chatter away. All seems well, until it isn't. Out of nowhere, a dark shadow slices through the sky, an enemy nuke on a one-way trip to the city's heart. And in an instant, Seoul is gone. One explosion, and the world as we know it is over. But hey, there's a long and tangled tale behind how everything went down. Some grim, some intriguing. So let's rewind a bit, back to 3 years before the world went boom. Enter Gyu Park, our protagonist, the man who didn't just live in the world, he was ready for it to collapse. You see, when all the talk about impending doom was just a Reddit thread or a news headline, Gyu was one of the few to take it seriously. And when we say seriously, we mean seriously delusional. He sold everything he owned and dedicated himself to becoming the ultimate doomsday prepper, soaking up every scrap of info he could find on how to outlive the apocalypse. Library books? He devoured them. Survival guides? Practically memorized. He became an expert at everything from filtering water to pickling veggies, all for the sake of one golden rule that every survival source seemed to scream: find the right place for a bunker. So what makes a primo bunker location? 3 key rules. First, it has to be low-key, close to a city, but hidden enough that nobody stumbles across it. Second, it's got to be a defensive fortress, somewhere you can dig in and hold your ground. And finally, well, we'll get to that later, but let's just say Gyu Park wasn't leaving anything to chance. And the third requirement? Money, honey. Building a bunker doesn't come cheap. So Gyu Park had to plan every detail down to the last penny. After days of searching for the perfect location, he finally found it, a secluded patch of forest near an Air Force base, tucked away in the suburbs just outside the city. Secluded, quiet, and perfect for his bunker plans. Cut to Gyu Park digging away at his chosen spot, with a local farmer curiously watching him work. This farmer, who Gyu barely remembers by name, is someone he affectionately calls owner of the land near the site, or Old Man Kim for short. Their first conversation? Well, Old Man Kim tries to be friendly, suggesting they get to know each other as neighbors. But Gyu? He's too focused on one thing, construction, knowing that digging out and fortifying the bunker solo would take him about, well, forever. Gyu decides to speed things up. He hires a construction crew, an experienced team, to help bring his bunker dreams to life. He's got all the gear, all the supplies, everything ready to go. The crew's not thrilled at first about Gyu joining in on the work, since he's clearly a novice. But after a few good meals, some drinks, and a whole lot of late-night bonding, they start warming up to their soon-to-be bunker buddy. But just when everyone is vibing and the construction is in full swing, splat, a clump of dirt smacks into one of the crew members. Enter Old Man Kim, fuming and hollering at the top of his lungs about how Gyu and his crew are making too much noise and practically turning his peaceful land into a daily block party. Apparently, he's also peeved that they're building this bunker without any kind of permit, and he's not afraid to make it everyone's problem. Kim starts pulling every trick in the book to be a nuisance, lying right in front of the crane, blocking their path, and throwing a fit every chance he gets. Tensions rise. One of the crew, a short-haired, tattooed guy, gets fed up and pulls out a hand axe, ready to remove the problem himself. But before things get out of hand, Gyu steps in, snatches the axe, and with a calm but steely voice, says he'll handle it if Old Man Kim pushes him any further. Now, Gyu's not exactly your hero type, and his patience is hanging by a thread. So when he stumbles across Old Man Kim with a few unfamiliar faces, things look like they're about to take a turn, and not the friendly kind. A sharply dressed guy approaches Old Man Kim, telling him to stop being so stubborn and just hand over the land. Apparently, this wealthy clown has big plans for the countryside and wants Kim's land to complete his little empire. You can just live with us, he mutters like he's doing Old Man Kim a favor. But the old man isn't having any of it. flatly refusing the offer, and that's when things get heated. The rich guy's face twists in anger as he grabs Kim by the collar and demands to know why he won't sell. All you have is this tiny, rundown house and a scrap of farmland. Why not just give it up? He shouts, practically spitting. He even has the nerve to bring up that Kim gave a chunk of the land to his sister, so why not him? And just like that, he shoves the old man to the ground, leaving our protagonist, Gyu Park, staring in disbelief. It gets worse. The rich guy raises his hand, ready to slap his own father, and starts ranting about how he's put up with old man Kim for years, demanding that he finally act like a father. Surprise, surprise. The jerk in the suit is old man Kim's son. He loudly declares that Kim better cough up the land while he's still breathing, or else he'll torch the whole farm to ashes. With that threat hanging in the air, he storms off, dragging the girl along with him and driving away. Gyu and old man Kim are left standing there, stunned and silent. After a tense moment, Gyu breaks the awkwardness the best way he knows how, by offering the old man a cigarette. Old man Kim accepts, and as they smoke, he suddenly asks Gyu if he has any parents. Gyu's answer is short and distant. They died in an accident long ago. Trying to make sense of what just happened, Gyu suggests that maybe old man Kim should just sell the land. It's way too big for him to handle alone, especially at his age. The old man thinks for a moment, staring off into the distance, before mentioning that he did give away a useless plot to his daughter years ago, and nothing ever came of it. The two sit in the shared silence of their own complicated pasts, smoke curling into the quiet countryside air. But even a guy like Gyu Park couldn't predict everything, especially the construction of a 10-lane road right in front of the bunker. When old man Kim, the owner of the land, hears about it, his eyes well up with tears. They want him to sell, but this patch of earth holds too many memories of the life he shared with his late wife, and he just can't let it go. Gyu, of course, doesn't know any of this, and old man Kim keeps that grief locked away. Instead, he simply tells Gyu it's getting late and suggests he head out. Whatever passed between them that day must have done something, because old man Kim didn't say a word against Gyu Park's construction plans, neither the bunker nor the new road. Then it happens. A nuclear bomb crashes down, and with one deafening roar that splits the sky, the world as they know it ends. As the delayed air raid sirens start their mournful wail, old man Kim comes running to Gyu Park, desperation in his voice. He begs Gyu to help him find his son, who lives in the city that's just been bombed. Before heading into the wreckage, Gyu checks the internet, looking for any scraps of information. But the news is grim. The city's been completely leveled, and it's clear the son didn't make it. Old man Kim clutches his farmer's hat in frustration, trying to hold on to some sliver of hope. Gyu, always the realist, warns him there might be more nukes on the way and urges him to take cover. Old man Kim places a weathered hand on Gyu's shoulder, thanks him for the offer of shelter, but tells him he just can't leave his land behind. Inside the newly fortified bunker, a phone suddenly rings. Gyu checks the caller ID. It's one of his workers. He flips on the CCTV to see who's outside, and surprise, surprise, it's the guy with the tattoo, gripping his trusty hand axe, staring into the camera, waiting to be let in. But Gyu Park knows the harsh truth. In a world where it's every man for himself, you trust no one. Not the living, and certainly not those who aren't dead yet. Let's rewind a bit to day 852. It's bright and early. The sun's just peeking over the horizon when suddenly, a rifle shot rings out from the deep forest. A boar drops dead on the spot. Gyu Park and old man Kim are out hunting, and they've bagged themselves a massive boar. Looks like bacon's on the menu for the next few weeks. Old man Kim, clearly proud of his shot, tells Gyu he used to be in the special forces and even earned a commendation for his marksmanship. This bit of history makes Gyu's eyes light up with respect. If there's one thing he's learned, it's that you don't mess with a guy who has elite military skills. Now, while having a rifle in hand feels pretty cool, Gyu knows it's not exactly the most practical thing in a full-blown apocalypse. He turns to the left, and we get a view of a massive fortress near an Air Force base. This isn't just any base. It's a place that once housed both American and Korean soldiers, troops that were specialized in hunting down large creatures during wartime. And that makes this base a gold mine for weapons in case of a doomsday scenario. So let me paint a picture of how things are going to go down when the world truly goes sideways. If war breaks out, the bases around Gyeonggi province would be the first target. The moment the bomb hits and chaos erupts, our man Gyu is going to sneak into the base and snag all the supplies and weapons he can find. And then, voila, He'll have enough stockpiled goods to survive indefinitely. But just as Gyu's daydreaming about this perfect scenario, an unexpected offer comes his way. Out of nowhere, a guy with a tattoo asks if he's got any guns. Enter Wong-Soo Kim, a former member of the construction crew who helped build the bunker. Turns out, Wong-Soo has a bit of a past. He used to be tied up with the Chinese mafia, which means he's got some serious connections when it comes to military weaponry. Lucky for Gyu, Wong-Soo's left a shady life behind, which might just mean he's a handy ally to have around when the world goes up in flames. Wong-Soo starts spilling the tea. Apparently, a monster invasion in Mongolia wiped out a bunch of buildings and castles, and hundreds, maybe even thousands of people were killed. As a result, many survivors have been pouring into Korea, looking for work, spending all their money building shelters, and doing any manual labor they can to scrape by. Then Wong-Soo suggests something that sticks. Since Gyu Park has a bunker, maybe it's time to arm it properly. Gyu, of course, feels a bit skeptical about Wong-Soo's self-assured tone. Maybe it's the way the guy brags, or maybe it's just his ego. Still, Wong-Soo's got a point. So, once the bunker is all set up, Gyu decides he'll see what kind of merchandise Wong-Soo's former Chinese mafia connections can provide. They shake hands, and Wong-Soo reassures him that he won't regret it. When the day of the deal arrives, Gyu Park, being the ever-cautious type, hires a private investigator to dig into Wong-Soo's background. Not only does the PI confirm Wong-Soo's telling the truth, but they also uncover that he's tied to none other than the mainland Shanghai triads. Turns out those weapons are coming straight through that notorious network. Armed with this intel, Gyu meets Wong-Soo in a secluded spot hidden behind some old train tracks. Wong-Soo tells Gyu that the delivery guy will be there soon, but they'll have to wait a bit since they're early. As they wait, Wong-Soo gets a text on his phone. Gyu casually peeks over, expecting some update on the weapons, but instead sees a message titled Daughter. Gyu asks if it's his kid, and Wong-Soo nods, saying his daughter is 7 years old. Then, suddenly, there's a honk. A silver van pulls up, signaling the start of the deal. They meet at the back of the truck, and the driver drops a wooden crate brimming with weapons. Inside are 3 pristine Type 56 assault rifles, complete with 300 rounds. And since our protagonist has that inside connection, he scored 3 magazines for free as part of the deal. Gyu Park takes one of the rifles for a test run, firing off a few rounds. It feels powerful, the kind of force that makes it clear these are no knockoffs. The rifles are in mint condition, no scratches, nowhere. It's basically like they just rolled off the factory line. After agreeing on the terms, the truck driver nods and drives off, leaving Gyu and Wong-Soo to finish up. Then, without warning, Wong-Soo leans in and places his hand on one of the rifles, as if preparing to grab it. Gyu Park's instincts kick in, and he's immediately on alert. But Wong-Soo just casually asks, with a friendly smile, if Gyu plans to stay alone in the bunker. Gyu confirms, saying it's just going to be him. Wong-Soo smirks, and the look puts Gyu on edge. He subtly reaches behind his shirt, readying his hand axe, just in case this friendly chat turns into something else. But then Wong-Soo laughs it off. Of course not, he says, joking that if Gyu plans to invite him and others over, he's going to need a lot more space. Gyu relaxes, offering Wong-Soo a place to stay anytime. After all, Wong-Soo helped build the bunker and already knows the secret location. Wong-Soo appreciates the gesture, but says he's heading back to spend time with his daughter once the job's done, and probably won't be returning. Before parting ways, Wong-Soo tells Gyu to enjoy the new gear and assures him the remaining ammo and magazines will be delivered once the payment goes through. Fast forward to Gyu Park staring at the CCTV screen. And who does he see? Wong-Soo, standing there like he never promised to stay away, and he's got an axe in hand. Gyu answers the phone, thinking maybe Wong-Soo's just in need of a place to crash or forgot some ammo. Hey there, Wong-Soo says cheerfully, like he's delivering pizza instead of ammunition. He insists he's just there to drop off the ammo and magazines, asking Gyu to open the door. Now, Gyu's not exactly thrilled, but if Wong-Soo's alone, he figures he's got it handled. The door swings open, and there they stand, face to face like 2 cowboys ready for a showdown, both gripping their axes. Without missing a beat, Wong-Soo takes a full swing at Gyu, who ducks like he's in some kind of axe-throwing dodgeball game. Nice try, buddy, Gyu thinks, quickly realizing he needs to take down Wong-Soo before any friends come to crash the party. So he swipes back, and in one clean move, slices Wong-Soo's neck. Blood gushes everywhere, and for a moment, Wong-Soo's expression is that of total confusion, like he just realized he's the unlucky character in a horror movie. Wait, are you like a soldier? Or a secret agent? Wong-Soo chokes out, half impressed, half terrified. Gyu just gives him a deadpan look. Nah man, just a guy who doesn't like surprise visits. Wang-Su, now looking like a tragic, blood-soaked mess, crawls to Gyu's feet, clutching his pants like he's begging for a discount at the world's worst garage sale. Please spare me, he cries. Gyu, keeping it brutally real, points out the obvious. Even if I wanted to spare you, dude, you're already bleeding like a stuck pig. It's not going to end well for you. Realizing he's out of luck, Wang-Su begs for one last mercy. Just end it quick. And with a sigh, Gyu nods. Alright, no hard feelings, before delivering a swift final chop to the neck, ending the not-so-friendly reunion. A phone rings, and Gyu Park, expecting one of his gang members, casually reaches for it, until he sees the message that makes his heart drop. It's from his daughter, and it reads, "Dad, come home soon," with a line of kiss emojis. But in this world, there's no room for sentimental moments. It's kill or be killed, and Gyu knows that better than anyone. It's now day 29, and once the radiation levels dip just low enough, our guy suits up in his gas mask. Breathing in that apocalyptic air? Not on his agenda. He's trying to survive, not turn into a glowing health hazard. Making his way to the Air Force Base, he's half expecting rubble and ruin. But instead, he finds a place practically untouched, like the bomb decided to take a detour somewhere else. Jackpot! He starts scouring the area, and he's like a kid in a candy store, except this store is stocked with enough weapons to arm a private militia. Rifles, ammo gear, it's all just lying around waiting to be scooped up. As he searches, his eyes fall on a skeleton slumped in a car, and his thoughts drift back to Wang-Su, the tattooed guy he took down earlier. A what-if pops into his head. If Wang-Su hadn't made that deal, would he still be alive, enjoying life with his daughter? You can't help but chuckle at the irony. All those deals, all that secrecy, and it turns out he didn't even need them. This Air Force Base is like a free-for-all armory, no mafia strings attached. But then again, in this lovely post-apocalyptic hellscape, would Wang-Su have even found a way to reunite with his daughter? Gyu shrugs, lets out a sigh, and figures it probably wouldn't have made a difference. With that, he tosses the thought aside, gears up with as much firepower as he can carry, and drives off, leaving behind a treasure trove of what could have been. Our hero heads back to base, settles in, and what's he doing? Watching a video tutorial on how to make a wolf felt doll. Yep, you heard that right. While surviving the apocalypse, Gyu Parks picked up a new hobby, doll making. The video, by the way, was posted back in the day before Seoul went all mushroom cloud, and it's from some doomsday prepper community. And who do we have to thank for this oddball pastime? A mysterious figure known as Melon Mask, a businessman who came up with a genius idea. A satellite link called Galaxy Link that keeps the internet running even after the bombs dropped. Basically, this Melon Mask guy is the Elon Musk of this world, and Galaxy Link is like Starlink's long-lost cousin. So while life in the apocalypse isn't exactly a vacation, Gyu's found ways to keep himself entertained. Sure, surviving alone gets tough, but hey, he's got internet, enough to watch videos, knit some dolls, and even chat with other survivors if he's feeling social. All thanks to Mr. Elon Melon Musk, the tech savior of the apocalypse. With the final stitch, Gyu completes his doll, wrapping up the tutorial and adding professional doll maker to his list of post-apocalyptic skills. Because when you're facing the end of the world, who knew that knitting wool felt dolls would be the thing to keep you sane? The doll doesn't look anything like the one in the tutorial, and Gyu Park feels a little disappointed. But it's still something comforting to do, and listening to another human voice, even if it's just a video, feels nice sometimes. Now it's day 365, exactly 1 year since the bombs dropped. Strange monsters have been spotted in different areas, huge creatures appearing in the dark skies. One of them, a giant octopus-like thing, is wrecking an abandoned skyscraper. On the live forums, people talk about refugees being spotted, and as days go by, more members start going offline for long periods. Gyu Park worries that most of them have lost their lives to these monsters. Conversations that were once friendly on the forums are starting to feel tense as more people disappear. There's one mysterious user named Defender. He uploads videos of himself killing others and sharing them for everyone to see. Gyu Park thinks the guy is doing it because he enjoys ending people's lives. Then it's day 395, and winter is here. Snow lightly covers the bunker, and the chat forums are as cold as the weather outside. By now, more users are offline than online. Gyu Park steps outside in his winter clothes, binoculars in hand. It's quiet until he hears a car driving by, and he looks around to see what's going on. He spots 4 familiar faces. It's the construction workers who helped build his bunker before the whole world went boom. Looks like these guys have gone from hammer-swinging builders to full-on scavenging raiders, looting anything they can find and searching for a place to crash. And what better time to pay Gyu Park a little visit than now? But they picked the wrong house to mess with. Gyu walks over to one of his many lockers and swings it open, revealing an armory that would make Rambo blush. He's got options, a lot of options. But instead of going with a sensible choice like, say, a long-range gun, our guy picks a trusty hand axe. Brilliant, right? He decides to hide in the shadows, ready to ambush these guys the moment they break in. Outside, the raiders are debating. Is this the bunker we helped build? One asks. Yeah, it's gotta be. Another replies confidently. The guy in the brown jacket pipes up, wondering out loud why the door is just wide open, to which the dude in the blue jacket, clearly the brains of the group, mutters, it's probably a trap. So, naturally, he volunteers the two guys behind him to go in first. Ladies first, he practically says without saying it. The two unlucky guys cautiously walk into the bunker and are immediately distracted by, what else? Packets of Marlboro cigarettes just lying out in the open like bait. The man in the blue jacket shouts in, asking if they see anything or smell anything suspicious like rotting corpses. One of the guys takes a big whiff, nothing. Then he barks at them to check every corner of the bunker and make sure it's clear. And that's when Gyu Park makes his move. Leaping from the darkness like he's Batman, but, with an axe, he lands a kick on one of their shields, knocking both guys to the ground. Before they can even say, oh, Gyu rushes over and starts slashing with his axe. One of them tries to fire back in a panic, but misses every single shot, spraying bullets everywhere, but in Gyu's direction. Honestly, you'd think he'd never held a gun before. He throws the axe like a pro, and it finds its mark right in the head of one of the raiders. The guy drops like a rock, and suddenly, the man in the green jacket is in full panic mode. But before he can scramble away, Gyu Park is already on top of him, pinning him down. The poor guy is shaking like a leaf, begging for mercy as he stares into Gyu's eyes, hoping to find any scrap of humanity left. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Meanwhile, the guys outside are getting impatient. Hey, you still alive in there? Shouts the man in the brown jacket. Silence. Brown jacket, not known for his patience or brains, decides it's time to check things out himself. But Captain Blue Jacket isn't having it. Are you crazy? You'll get yourself killed. He proposes a brilliant alternative. Toss some tear gas into the bunker to flush out whoever's inside. Too bad for them. Gyu Park sees that one coming a mile away. With a smirk, he slams the door shut, locking out the world and their tear gas plans. Blue Jacket scratches his head for a second before a light bulb moment hits. Let's toss the tear gas through the vents. Because, of course, as one of the bunker's builders, he knows every nook and cranny, including the ventilation system. His plan? Smoke Gyu out until he has no choice but to come running out the front door gasping for air. Meanwhile, Gyu's thinking, really? I'm supposed to kill off the whole crew who built this place? First Wong Su, then two of the guys, and now these three outside? He shakes his head at the irony of it all. Realizing he needs a change in strategy, Gyu grabs a rifle, ready for a long-range showdown if it comes to that. But he's not going to make it easy for them. He kicks open a small, hidden panel in the back of the bunker, revealing a tiny crawl space that leads to the underground level. It's like a secret escape route straight out of a spy movie, and Gyu's about to use it to turn the tables on his unwelcome guests. Gyu Park crawls through the hidden space, finding a sneaky exit that lets him pop out behind the three unsuspecting men. With both hands gripping his M4 rifle, he watches them fumble around, lighting the tear gas like they're at some sort of end-of-the-world bonfire. Then, out of nowhere, Gyu bursts out and fires off a few quick shots. Two guys drop instantly with bullets to the head, leaving just Mr. Blue Jacket. Blue Jacket's hands shoot up faster than you can say, I surrender. Gyu, not in the mood for games, asks how many more people are lurking around. Just me, I swear. Blue Jacket says, his voice shaking. Gyu, not buying it for a second, aims the rifle squarely at the guy's forehead. I'm telling the truth. There were 5 of us, and you took out the other 4, he squeals, practically pleading. Gyu nods, then makes Blue Jacket load all 4 of his dead buddies into the back of the truck like he's hauling groceries. Before slamming the trunk shut, Gyu reaches in and grabs a wool felt doll from one of the men's pockets. It's his favorite doll, the same one he made back when life was only slightly less miserable. And now he's convinced this group took down the guy who taught him how to make it, the doll dude. Anger flashing across his face, Gyu uses the butt of his rifle and cracks Blue Jacket in the face, sending him reeling back. Blue Jacket denies everything, swearing they didn't kill doll guy. Gyu is not satisfied. "Show me where you found this," he orders, and the two head out to the supposed scene, not far from the bunker. They enter a building, and the place reeks of trouble. Sure enough, they find evidence that Defender, the psychopath from the forums, had been there, and he was the one who killed the doll maker, just like in his videos. Then, out of nowhere, a pistol shot rings out. Gyu spins around, heart pounding, and sees a figure in a white suit standing next to him. The infamous Defender himself, like something straight out of a crime movie. Defender just stands there, staring with those wide, cold eyes, while Gyu's brain races. He's in big trouble now. But to Gyu's surprise, the man in the white suit simply walks away, not saying a word, leaving Gyu more confused, and probably more terrified than ever.